All right, so if everybody'd like to just sit back and relax, okay, I'm going to take you on a little bit of meditation, first of all, to relax you down. And then I'm going to take you on a little visual trip, okay? So if you want to sit back in the chair and put your feet on the ground, okay? And take a nice deep breath in through your nose and hold, and a nice deep breath out. Just get yourself comfortable. Feel the chair supporting your body. Drop your shoulders. Loosen your neck. Okay? And know that there's absolutely nowhere else you need to be. And there's nothing else you need to do. Just sit back and relax. We're going to enjoy this hour. And we're going to just give it to ourselves, basically. Give ourselves this hour where no interruptions. Okay? And we're going to take a nice deep breath in for 4, hold for 2, and out for 6. Okay? So in for 4, hold, and out for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in for 4 again. 2, 3, 4, and hold, and out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And feel all that stress and tension just leave your body on the exhale. You're letting go. And on the inhale, you're breathing it up, right up through your body, holding, and then out it goes, out of your body. So once more, breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2, and out for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice and relaxed now. Comfy on your chair. All the tension has loosened. You're feeling better in yourself. So I'm going to take you on a little visual trip now. We're going to go to a nearby forest. All right? Okay. And within this forest, there's a lake. So we're going to walk along the path now. Okay? And it's the most beautiful path. There's flowers growing up wild along the edges on your left and right. Beautiful trees. Okay? And in the distance, you can see there's a breaking in the forest. So as you come to the edge of the forest, the sunlight is shining down on top of you. You can feel the heat. Okay, it's all opening up. And there's a beautiful big lake. And you're going to walk down near the lake. And as you get closer, you're going to see swans. And you're going to see ducks. You're going to see the beautiful colours, like the swans will be beautiful white. Okay, and the ducks will have beautiful colours on them. There'll be greens and blues. They'll all be swimming around the lake, right? The sun is shining on the lake and it's glistening away. It's just beautiful. And there's a beautiful warm breeze. Beautiful warm breeze, and it's blowing your hair as you walk along the edge. And it's lovely and flat. Okay, beautiful flat little walk. Okay, and you're walking around the lake. You can hear the ducks quacking. You can see the duck, you can see the swans. There's a male swan, there's a female swan, and there's a little swans and baby swans there, paddling along behind. Okay, going about their business, just investigating the lake. There'll be lilies on the water as well, peeping up, flowers. And there's little fish, there's goldfish in this lake because it's on an estate, right? And they put goldfish in the lake, and it's so beautiful. They're just swimming along inside the water, and they're quite big. They're very, very big. They've grown with their environment. They're swimming along peacefully, and everybody is kind of walking along different areas of the lake. You can see them in the distance, and they're all enjoying all this scenery, the nature and the colours and the beautiful flowers. And as you get to the far side of the lake, there's a little coffee shop. Right? And outside the coffee shop, there's these huge lilies. They're huge. They're as tall as your shoulders. And they're the most magnificent colours. Right? There's reds, and there's oranges, and yellows, and all just stunningly beautiful. They're in full bloom this time of year. Go over to have a good close look. Right? And then there's some benches. So you're going to go over and you're going to sit on the bench. Right? And then a lady's going to come over and she's going to ask you what you'd like. Right? So you're going to order some tea or hot chocolate or whatever it is you feel like. You're going to sit there and you're going to sip away. But for the moment, you're just waiting for her to come back. Taking in the beautiful scenery. And as she approaches, she brings your lovely tea. Thank her, and off she goes and leaves you in your beautiful surroundings again. As you sip away, you look to the sky and you can see beautiful birds flying around. You can still see the lake. Still see all the swans and the ducks. And you think, what a perfect place to be. It's fantastic just to get away from everything and come here and sit down and just enjoy the scenery and see the different families walking around as well, and their kids and their dogs and their toys and their bikes and everything, and they're having a great time together. You hear the barking of the dogs and the chirping of the birds. It's just heavenly. Finish off your tea. I'm going to head back into the room here to me and we'll have a little chat. Okay? So when you're ready, just open your eyes. Okay? All right, I can't see any of you now, so I'm just going to chat away with you and basically talk about boundaries. All right, this is a very interesting topic. And basically, the first thing about boundaries, I guess, and it was just mentioned there a minute ago, was it's the ability to say yes and no, right, at the appropriate times. And it's basically just, you decide what you want, right? Okay, and you know what you're comfortable with. Like, say, for example, I have a boundary, a different boundary. We have personal boundaries, right? And we have emotional boundaries, and we have mental boundaries, and we've all sorts of boundaries. But basically, to simplify it, it's just the ability to say yes and no, right? Now, people are going to ask all sorts of things of you, and because we are limited in what we do, we're going to have to say no to certain things. And yes, this may not go down very well all the time, but you have to do it to protect yourself, and it's a form of self-care, right? So the most important thing you can do for yourself, right, is increase your self-care, right? This is definitely a priority, right? Because we have limitations, we need to look after ourselves, right? And these boundaries are going to basically help you to do that, right? Now, a lot of us have boundary issues, right? With people coming into our spaces that have no respect, right? Someone was telling me this morning that somebody was calling, because of their limitations, somebody was calling them names, and they were insulting them and telling them that they were selfish or whatever. Now, I've had that said to me before, right? Somebody asked me to walk their dog because they'd hurt themselves, and I couldn't do it, but I did offer Jim to do it. But they called me selfish and said I was thinking about myself, which, you know what? I said to them, right, okay, I can't physically do this, so you have to accept that. And if you don't accept it, well, that's your choice. But I, on this occasion, have to say no. And they had to respect that. Now, in time, they learned to understand my limitations and stuff, and they have more respect now. But at the time, you're always going to come across people who don't have the boundary issues, right? Okay, so personal boundaries. First of all, you need to identify the areas that you want to set boundaries on. So if you need to set out boundaries, you basically get out a piece of paper and a pen, right? Okay, and you just basically identify areas that need boundaries. Now, it could be that you have to take better care of yourself. We all have responsibilities, right? And some people have to care for other people. Like I would care for my husband and my child and whatever, but they're adults and they're physically able to look after themselves. So I don't have to do too much, right? So, but if my son, for example, decided, he doesn't do this, by the way, but if he decided, oh, you know, she can do my washing all the time, or she can cook for me all the time, or whatever, I'd have to set boundaries and say, right, okay, I can't cook for you. I can't cook for you 3 times a day, right? I'm going to cook once a day, right? You're big enough to get your breakfast and your lunch. I'll cook in the evening time, and basically, or I'll cook in the middle of the day and I'll make a batch, and what you do you can eat it or you can leave it for dinner. And basically, you know, you set the boundary that you say, right, okay, if you want to eat more, the food is there, you're big enough to do it. Now, in certain circumstances, you're caring for somebody who is in a situation which is like yourself, they're limited. In that situation, it is difficult because you have a certain amount to do. But what you could do to help yourself is increase your self-care, introduce different things into your day that are looking after you, like maybe have 15-minute breaks where you do meditation, have a bath at night, set your recorder to watch your favorite program, these kind of things, self-care things that will help you to mind yourself. Another area of self-care or boundaries is the way people talk to you, right? Okay, now people will talk to you with disrespect if you let them, right? But what I find is, right, you basically, what you do is, right, if somebody's talking to you in a manner you don't like, right, you express that. You say, it is not okay for you to talk to me like that, okay? Or I don't like when you speak to me like that. It's not acceptable. If you could basically stop doing it, that would be great, because it's no longer tolerated by me, right? So you have certain people in your life, like I have obviously got people who disrespect my boundaries and they would get annoyed over nothing, right? Luckily, I can avoid them because they're not in the house here with me. I can avoid them and limit my time with them. And that's how I protect myself. If I do come across them and I have to interact with them and they are disrespectful, I just simply say, you know, you can't speak to me like that. It's not acceptable. You know, you just basically say it in a polite way and you let them know. And then when they're aware that you won't tolerate it anymore, they may have more respect for you. Okay. So once you have identified the areas that you want to put your boundaries on, you need then to define what you want to happen, right? Say with people that you disrespect you in their speech, they're cheeky to you, or they're rude to you or whatever, you define what you want to happen there. You don't want them to be that way. So you basically state, right, okay, when this person is like this, I'm going to put up my boundary and say, right, you can stop now, right? You cannot speak to me like that. I don't accept it. And if you're going to continue, toddle on. Do you know? I mean, basically you can define what it is exactly that you want, right? The thing is to keep it simple. Keep it very, very simple, right? You don't want to say too much. You want to keep it kind of prepare before you get yourself in the situation. What you can do is visualize yourself in the situation, right? Because we do know who does it and who doesn't. So you visualize the person sitting opposite you. This is a great exercise, actually. We did it once, and it's very, very good. I had a situation where somebody was coming to the house and the boundaries weren't great, and basically I had to set some boundaries, so I had to teach myself how to do this. So I was told to visualize us sitting opposite each other and basically saying to the person what it is you want to say, right? So you rehearse it. So then when it comes to the point when, say, the person comes to the house and you say what it is, like you say, right, okay, you know, you're coming, someone's coming to stay for 10 days, say, in your house, right? And you don't necessarily want to be waiting on them hand and foot. So you just make it clear that, you know, you listen, the fridge is there, help yourselves. I'll be cooking dinners in the evening time. In the meantime, if you want breakfast or lunch, come and go as you wish. And the food is there, just help yourselves. This person was a young person and I couldn't possibly keep up with them. So I kind of let them know that, listen, the bus is down the road. If you want to go into town, you know, off you go. In other words, I'm not going to be trucking you here, there and everywhere, right? So basically you just set whatever boundaries you feel comfortable, whatever you're able for. I had to set these boundaries because I wouldn't be able to keep up with that person, and I wouldn't be able to you know, wait on them hand and foot, right? So you decide your boundaries, what you want to do, how you want it to be, and then you express it, right? Communication is the key to everything, right? When it deals with boundaries, communication is very, very important. And when it comes to say communication and boundaries within your house, say if it's with your spouse or your daughter or your son or whatever it is, you know, it's okay. You can express with love, which is the best way to express it. And just say, right, okay, I'm not really happy with how this is going. Can we talk about it and tweak it a bit so that I'm happier? And basically find a middle ground where you're both happy, because it's important whenever you're in a house with anybody that you're all happy, because you're all adults, and you don't want one person pulling out of you more than you're able for and suffer demanding more than you're able for. You need to set boundaries, right? Now, there's also a situation where boundaries have to be set in a situation where someone's very, very grumpy towards you, right? Now, I came across a situation there lately with a lady, a girl, she's a lady, I suppose, she's 23, 24, and she was working in a nursing home, right? And she was very good at what she did, and she looked after the people very well. But there was a particularly elderly lady who was very, very grumpy, right? And she would be very disrespectful to this girl. So she came to me and she said, what the hell am I going to do, right? How am I going to stop this behavior? So I said to her, well, what do you want to happen? And she said, well, I want to be able to go into the room and care for her and look after her as is my job. But I don't want to put up with the abuse that she's giving me, because it's very hurtful and it's diminishing and it's condescending and all those other horrible things, right? So I said, okay. I said, so if you were to talk to her, what would you want to say? And well, I'd want to tell her that, you know, I really like working with you, and I really like caring for you, and I want to be with you, but I'm finding it very difficult at the moment because you're very grumpy and I feel that you're not enjoying my care and you don't like me very much, and that's not the environment that is good for you or me. So if you want me to continue being in your care, and you don't want me to ask someone else to come in and swap rooms with me, because I would appreciate it if you could be nicer to me, so you can try and start off like that. So she started off like that, and it was fine for about a day or two, and then you got grumpy again. So she said, listen, I really want to stay caring for you, but if you continue like this, I'm going to have to leave and get somebody else to care for you. And this is the last time I'm going to be able to kind of, talk to you about it. So basically, I'm going to have to leave now, and I'll send in one of the other nurses to care for you. So she did that, and within 24 hours, 48 hours, I think it was, your one was saying, well, why isn't she coming in to see me? The lady was saying, why isn't she coming in? And the other nurse said, well, you weren't very nice to her. And she said, well, I didn't think I was being that nice. Well, you have to be nice to her, and then she'll come back and she'll stay back, So they're the consequences that were put in place, right? So what happened was that the lady kind of said, oh God, I no offense to you, but I really like her back, you know. So you want to, well, can I tell her that you're going to be nice to her? So she said, yeah, I will. So then the lady, the girl came back into the ladies' room, and they haven't had an issue since, because the woman knew that if she got a little touchy again, the girl would say, listen, you know, I really don't want to leave, so can you be more pleasant and tell me if there's something bothering you, can I help you, but otherwise I'm going to have to leave again. So she said, oh, no, and everything was fine. And then they have a beautiful relationship where they get on really, really well, because everybody knows their boundaries. And the lady has literally adopted this girl and said, you're going to stay with me, aren't you? And I won't be disrespectful or mean to you or anything like that anymore. And the boundaries are clear, and they're getting on great, and they're basically like she's practically her granddaughter now. She's adopted her and said, I want you to be my granddaughter, I just love you. And it's blossomed into this fabulous relationship, which came from boundaries, you know. So basically, I know that it can be very, very difficult to set boundaries, and it can be hurtful, or, you know, can be not hurtful, but it can be difficult because people get annoyed, I suppose is the word. But it is essential that we set boundaries. Somebody else was saying to me that somebody wanted them to be, this is in connection with saying yes and no, somebody wanted them to be the executive of their will, but there was things in the will that they weren't comfortable with expressing to other people. So they kind of said, well, no, I'm not happy doing this. So the person got annoyed and said, well, you know, blah, 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 whatever it was. But he said, I couldn't be comfortable. So unless you're comfortable doing what you're asked to do, or being in a situation where you're happy and content, then you need to express it and change it and set boundaries and express what you want and find a happy medium. Because it's all about, right, if you're uncomfortable or you're unhappy or you're annoyed and all those feelings, they're all vibrations, right? And they're not good for you. You need to lower the vibrations so you can be, if you're more content, right, you lower the vibrations of your body, and that will actually help your body, right? And you won't use up as much energy, which is very, very important, right? Because you won't be getting upset as much, or you won't be getting annoyed as much, or you won't be getting angry. And that's important, right? And that's all about boundaries, right? Okay, so let's see, what else did I down here? We did setting boundaries. I had here, identify your boundaries are made up of yeses and nos. Good boundaries free you up, right? Because you don't have, right? You don't have all the thought process going on, where your anxiety and your frustration and everything, it frees you up, and you know, right, okay, I'm completely safe and happy in this environment because I know people aren't going to treat me badly, right? They're not going to speak to me in a way, they're never going to speak to me in a way I don't want, because I'm going to know how to express myself. And I'm going to express myself very simply, right, by stating, you know, it's not okay for you to talk to me like that or speak to me like that. I would appreciate it if you'd have a little bit more kindness in your heart, or you would have a little bit more respect for me if you want to go down that route. Basically, it's very important to be able to do that. And just the simple phrase of, it's not okay to speak to me like that. That's all you need to say. You can cut it at that if you want, right? And that alone lets somebody know, oh, okay, all right, I better not do that anymore. Or at least I know now she's not going to, they become aware that they can't do it. And if they do it again, you do the same again. And eventually you stop it before it starts. And that's the most important thing. Once you notice the tone changing, you put up your boundary. It's like a game of tennis, right? So you're there with your boundaries, right? And you'll do your personal boundaries, and you'll push yourself a little bit until you get near the net, right? Your boundary, right? And then you'll say, right, I'm getting too close to the boundary now. I'm going to like get over fatigued or whatever, and you pull it back a bit, right? And you pull back what you're doing so that you're not doing so much. On the other side of the net, then you have other people, right? And your boundaries that you set for them, and what you expect from them, and what you will tolerate from them, right? So if you see them coming too close to the net, or starting to become disrespectful or talk to you in a way you don't like, you go, right, okay, here we go. It's not okay to speak to me like that, right? And there you go. It's as simple as that. Now, it's not altogether simple. You can try it out and see how you get on. You will come across people who will not like the boundaries and they will rebel against them, but that's your choice. You have to mind yourself, because it all starts with self-care, minding yourself, right? And you have to do this so that you can feel a little stronger, feel a little more confident, and you do feel more confident. It's magic. I was there today now, and I met someone today, right? Okay, and I had to distance myself from this person because I felt that they didn't have my interests at heart, right? And I met them for the first time today in about 9 months, right? And I met him for the first time, and I stayed in my comfort zone, right? I didn't feel any hatred or anything. I didn't feel any anger. I didn't feel any frustration or anything towards them. I just stayed in that comfort zone. I had my boundaries up. I knew I was safe, right? And they came towards me and they said, hello, how are you? And I said, hello, how are you back? And we chatted for a few minutes. And I expressed myself then a little bit. As the conversation went on, I said a few things, expressed myself to let them know that I knew that, that basically I knew that, how would I express it? I knew that I got things said in a nice way that I needed to say without feeling uncomfortable or feeling anxious or feeling tight in my chest, because I came from a place of love, right? And I came from a place of neutrality, neutral spot, right? So that I expressed myself in a way. And in the end, right, we parted in good terms. No change of tone. There was all kindness in the conversation right the way through. But she knows that I won't tolerate her behavior or her disrespect again. And if she wants to be part of my life again, the boundaries have shifted, and she knows. And if I meet her again and she wants to be part of my life, she basically will have to respect that and respect me. And that's very, very comforting, because as you start to mind yourself and you know your boundaries and you become aware of where you need them, you can tackle one a week if you want, and just keep an eye out for different things that you want to happen. Or as they pop up in different situations, you can say, right, okay, this is a situation where I need to say something, again, from a loving place, and just let them know that it's not acceptable behavior or whatever. So it's very, very, and you will find yourself getting more confident, right? And more able to deal with these boundaries. And you find that your energy levels will stabilize, because you're not wasting your energy as much. And that's what we need to do. We need to stop wasting our energy on unnecessary things, like frustrations, like anger, like giving out and stuff like that. You don't need to do that, right? When you have your boundaries and you're clear about them, you can express them, and people have to respect that. Now everybody's boundaries are different, so that's our boundaries will be different to other people's boundaries, and you have to respect other people's boundaries, obviously, but our boundaries are our responsibility, right? And that's basically where you start, very gently, just writing down what it is you want to change, right? Okay, in the areas, and don't do them all at once, right? Just take your time, right? Identifying an area. If it's an area where somebody is disrespecting you verbally, that could take a lot of work, right? But you will get there, and just simplify what you have to say and rehearse it if you have to, and say it from a loving point of view. And if they don't agree, say, okay, we'll agree to differ, but I still need you to respect me. Okay.